Having written The Wealth of Nations, I look sadly at my creation. Our great society's degradation causes nothing but trepidation. Where did I go wrong? All I wanted was free trade all day long, where competition and hard work got along to make the economy strong. The invisible hand rules all, and self-interest makes it whole. But the builder of the proverbial wall is as important as St. Paul. Yes, I see that I've created greed. Dollar bill is the newest creed. This society's illness indeed is spreading fast, I must sadly concede.
Dialectic materialism, labor struggle, and fetishism. Don't tell me I did not warn. I told you in Das Kapital, this would be a war. A war between the classes. You don't need to wear glasses to see there's much unrest in the masses. Accumulation and wealth creation are nothing more than aberration. The proletariat has nothing to lose but its chains. The spectre haunts, and the bourgeoisie wanes.
Pardon me, whatever happened to the Eastern Bloc? Tell me, what happened to the worldwide revolution? Your teaching was just a crock. You were the problem, not the solution.
If I was the problem, so were you. You need not look far to see what transpired. A couple of busts, and the middle class said adieu, and real estate values simply expired. What happened here, and whose teachings are right? Who is the culprit that started this mess? Who gave this situation a green light and put the economy in distress?
My predecessor many years ago promised a chicken in every pot. How about a house? You don't need dough. Let me see what you've got. Are you unemployed? So, what's the problem? You have no credit? Hey, so what? You have no money? Here's your answer. Just don't forget to vote. Everyone has to own a house. Isn't this the American dream? Whether you are from Poland or from Laos, borrow to the extreme. I'll talk to Fanny. I'll talk to Freddie. They better take good notes. Get those moving trucks all ready, and don't forget to vote. No one needs those lending guidelines when election is at stake. And when my name is in the headlines, you will eat chicken, and I'll have steak.
Whether the market moves up,
or if it goes down,
or if it goes sideways,
or if it stands still,
we are here to tell you what to do with your money. If you have any money, then go in for the kill. Pull out our crystal balls. Look at the stars formation. We will predict inflation. Yes, we are on a roll.
Eat your heart out, Nostradamus. How was your rate of return? Yours was not much of a promise. How much did your prophecies earn?
finance is the new religion, and we are its highest priests. We lead the investors' legions into financial bliss.
I grew up in Ohio. My father was an engineer. He has been using retorts and other scientific gear. He took me to his lab several times a year. When I was growing up, there was nothing I wanted more than to become a science pioneer. I wanted to invent. I wanted to produce. I loved the smell of the factory. I loved the smell of the factory. I loved the smell of the factory. Please pass me my gray goose. And everyone knew each other, and everyone said good day, and the workers would always gather at the tavern to watch the game. It seemed like this would last forever, but alas, nothing ever does. We heard the news one morning, and the whole town was abuzz. At the factory, at a meeting, a few guys in Brooks Brothers suits announced that they were completing a divestiture, past the absolute. We were told we're not efficient. Human labor costs way too high. Our product line will move to China. Here's 2 weeks severance now. Goodbye. Yes, my choices became crystal clear. I could stay and collect welfare checks or become like those guys in full gear. flashing Brooks Brothers suits and a Rolex. If you cannot beat them, join them. Very childhood ambitions, old guy. Only once in a while, I dream of my father and his retorts, and I want to cry.
When I was a little girl, I read one book after another. I read before school, I read in classes, I read Gone with the Wind to my little brother. My dream was to teach the souls of young ones I wanted to reach. But my classmates were so cruel. They would make fun of me. It was so dreadful for me in school that I hated them to the nth degree. But the best revenge I could think of was to become so very rich. I gave up Dostoevsky and Goethe to become a corporate bitch.
I was always an average student, having no particular skills. So my uncle suggested that it would be prudent that I pick up a trade to pay the bills. He suggested the plumbing profession. In demand, and you make a few bucks. But I like to produce a confession. It requires some work. It's for schmucks. My mom's grandpa was a well-known baker. I would drive a delivery truck. But good grief, to become a bread maker? Waking up before dawn is for schmucks. And my father, a junior pastor. Every Sunday, he gathers his flock. He prepares a sermon and talks to his master. But the money he makes is for schmucks. No plumbing or baking professions. My ambitions are greater than that. Surely God will forgive me for my transgressions. I will enter this race as a rat.
We forgot our childhood ambitions when we entered the kingdom of greed. You are plebes, we are your patricians. Money rules, yes indeed.
The empirical literature holds the view our economic policy is brand new. It is the new economy. The new economy. Give the bankers complete autonomy. Complete autonomy. Our economic policy is a factor of astronomy. Look at the stars. They move in perfect chaos. They don't collide. So what's the big fuss? Banks are the forefront of the financial intermediation, and the market's overall sophistication will indefinitely postpone the stagnation. We are on course to become the greatest nation. Due to increased product mutation, we will achieve risk mitigation. Yes, the degree of sophistication will surely provide a complete relaxation and independence from regulations. We want flexibility that yields stability, from which investors will feel tranquility, and even, God willing, profitability. This is a trend that Mao would loathe. This led to an unprecedented growth. Growth of houses, growth of cars, growth of boats, and growth of bars. Greatness is good, and there is no harm. Don't get a fixed loan, do get an arm. Greater expenditures cause job creation. We will become an insatiable nation.
The Dow is at 10,000 and soon it will go higher. Never mind the old bear market, it will soon retire. The S&P index will move even higher. We are so bullish. We are so bullish. The bear is on the pyre.
Our panel of experts is bullish on stocks. They love home builders, George Bush and Iraq. They love Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, Goldman Sachs. They go bananas for steel, beer, and drugs.
Hooray for the bull market! Hooray for the bull market! Hooray for the bull market! Bear market is for schmucks!
370 years ago, if you lived in Amsterdam and sold tulip bulbs, that was some racket. I'm telling you, bro, you could buy a brothel near the dam. Bulbs were bought and sold dozens of times, and people made money hand over fist. But as we all know, what rapidly climbs drops even further. Was everyone pissed? Fast forward to pre-Great Depression times. I want you to meet a pyramid schemer. His name was Ponzi. His trade was lies. I would not call him the Great Redeemer. Insider trading was a big gig. Let's send a few greats to the slammer. Come on, man. If you want to act like pigs, don't be afraid to get hit by the hammer. Fast forward again, and what do we see? What's going on in the land of the free? Selling the sizzle, not selling the steak? .com buccaneers are claiming their stake, where brand new economy is the new norm. Who says we need profits? You've been misinformed. Your internet presence is all that we need. Again and again, our motto is greed. And suddenly crap.com company's net worth is huge. But where is the product? Oh, don't be a stooge. We need no products, nor profits we need. When we go public, your assets will bleed. And through smoke and mirrors, abuses and dust, our country's economy finally went bust. The .com adventure brought ruin to many, which brings us directly to Freddie and Fannie.
What will I do when I am a partner? What will I do? I will buy a sleek car and a boat, drink Dom Perignon, buy my wife a mink coat. I will have a secretary, no, personal assistant. I will smoke cigars, but only Monte Cristo. What will I do when I am a partner? I will go around the world in a plane that my company charters. At my subordinates, I will look down my nose. And everyone will whisper, look, there he goes. I will demand respect and submission. My name will be under my company's mission. I plan to watch sports events from the skybox, and I will receive lots of company stocks.
What will I do when I'm on top? What will I do when I'm on top? When I'm in charge, oh, heads will be chopped. I'll drive the revenue working non-stop. Working round the clock? You bet I will. My only guide will be the dollar bill. Day and night and day. Do you feel sick? Well, take a pill. Get with the program, you know the drill. I will be ruthless. My goal's crystal clear. I'm on this earth to build a career.
When I'm in charge of a large corporation, when I'm in charge of a large corporation, no doubt I will get a standing ovation. When I see my old classmates 20 years after graduation, I am not sure this won't give them a severe constipation. They will be green with envy over my grandiose station. I will impress the aging class queen, who back then was so vain and so very mean. She wouldn't even look my way. But here I am on full display. Look at me. Look what I got. My husband is young and he is so hot. I live in a penthouse and I own a yacht. And you, my old buddies, let's see what you've got. Revenge is so sweet. I am a big shot.
When we're on top, when we head corporations, when we become the captains of our nation, when we fly over in our corporate jets and sit at the company's box at the Met, when we receive all our options and stocks.
And don't you forget the good old ballot box.
Our country's growth is unprecedented. It's a historic moment that should be documented. This fact that was highly anticipated. Our country's old economy had become antiquated. Consumers unite in their determination to make shopping and buying their second vocation. To shop till they drop, but with a sense of elation. Be sure that they use credit cards for cremation. Let's see what we have that is still left untapped. Let's see if we add even more to the debt. Where can we possibly get some more cash? Extract it from equity. Don't be abashed. Your home is your castle, but also is your bank. Here is your check. See, it's nice and blank.
The Guru has spoken! The Guru has spoken! We know that the old paradigm has been broken. We need to buy houses, cars, and consume. This trend just won't end, I would humbly assume. But what will transpire if your credit is subpar?
No worries, he said. You're still a superstar. Your credit, your job, and your house, they won't matter. That's what I heard from the boardroom chatter. The rumor I heard that persists downtown is that housing prices will never come down.
Real estate values will never come down. That's what I hear in LA and Miami. That's what I hear in Chicago and Dallas. Don't be a moron. Move into a palace.
The guru has spoken. The guru has spoken. He told us the old paradigm has been broken. We'll wait for the bankers to make their best move. No doubt we'll see that they'll be in the groove.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me present the opportunity that was God sent. The currents have changed and deregulation will have a huge impact on our nation.
And from your mouth right up to God's ears. This is the best news that I've heard in years. This is a green light to make it, it appears. Lots of new loans and profits, so cheers!
Political winds blowing into our coffer. The public demands, and we surely will offer, loans with terms no one understands. And then we resell them for euros and yen.
You have no income, but we'll gladly approve you. Your credit is crap. Not a problem at all. Your house is half burnt. Take the money, we beg you. We make borrowing as simple as a stroll in the mall.
We hear the message, and it's loud and clear. Give money away and collect a huge fee. Lots of new products we will engineer. No restraints, no limits. A huge lending spree.
Do you understand what is happening here?
I have a feeling they are all deranged.
The voice of reason has simply disappeared.
Let's wait and see, and hope for a change.
A bubble's not likely, but there is a sign of frost. The prices in some areas are not sustainable.
Excuse me, Mr. Banker, but I am a bit lost. Can you confirm my re-election is attainable?
The whole country is infatuated with real estate. The mantra is to buy, buy, buy. But I am not sure that's so great.
Then I could kiss my political career goodbye.
It seems we are the victims of our own success. I may, in fact, regret my own actions. Should I assume that this becomes a mess? I am afraid to think of a chain reaction.
This can't be happening to me, old fool. I did not get my Ph.D. in economics. It was a miracle that I had finished school. My education came from reading comics. My superheroes, Steel Man and Underdog, they always found ways to get out of trouble. We better find the way to clear up this fog and not utter a word about a bubble.
I am armed with an MBA degree. I have my HP 12C and a BlackBerry. I'm interviewing for a job. I will show them what I've got. I want a management job from the start. I want a big bonus. I am not faint of heart. Let someone else work at Kmart. I'm the best of the best. I'm a real work of art. My ego is huge, and you're not worth my fart. My salary is 6 figures, right from the start. I know my pie charts and the theory of motivation. I even know how to use standard deviation. I know economics, and I know NPV. My salary will be a small country's GDP. Supply and demand is my favorite subject. I'm in demand when money is no object. And my third car's marginal utility tops the theory of relativity. Price elasticity and market share will help me decide where to make my hair. I'm the hero of the day. I'm a freshly minted MBA.
We are the best. We know it all. After we graduate, we'll take on our role. We'll turn our country into a huge shopping mall.
Just don't be surprised to get a margin call.
Economists tell us that we should not be worrying. The impact on the markets will be contained. Real estate values will still be soaring. This time it's different, the wise men explained.
There is still liquidity aplenty, or so I hear. The music is playing and the chairs are set. It's hard to imagine that funds disappear, but even if so, we still shouldn't fret.
Our experts and guests remain somewhat bullish. They expect neither a housing bubble nor a shock. And in the hope of not seeming foolish, get out there to make a few bucks.
When the music stops, look for your chair. When the music stops, it had better be there. When the music stops, please do not despair. When the music stops.
Can someone please explain what is happening? Can someone please tell me what's going on? Housing prices are beginning to plummet. Many mortgage payments are not being made. This situation is making me vomit. Everything was going so great. We had the situation well under control. Houses were built and fortunes were made. Yes, there were excesses, or so I was told. But now it seems more like the problems cascade. Yes, people don't save and live beyond their means, but don't tell us what we can or can't afford. That's why we had a solution for this. We sold our debt to the rest of the world. We sold our paper and we bought their stuff. Who cares that we became money jugglers? We've created engineers of fluff, but having to deal with it is pretty ugly.
This boom is surely becoming a bust, and toxic assets are everywhere. The rating agencies we cannot trust. This looks like the Great Depression, I swear.
We will not panic. We will stay calm. We won't let capitalism disappear. This feels as if someone just dropped the bomb. The bankers just called, and they are all in tears.
Companies are closing down left and right. Nobody wants our paper anymore. Investors want their money. But the money is tight, and when we leave the building, it's through the back door. This is not what we had envisioned. The situation has gone out of control. We will be forced to make a decision. Who can we burden with scapegoat's role?
Our companies are downgraded. We're now as good as junk. Our old glory is all but faded. Let's all go out and get drunk.
At least being drunk will add some liquidity. Not to the treasury, though. We should expect the rate of morbidity to rise if there is no dough. The public demands human sacrifice. What to do? Let's discuss. How about to throw dice to create a sacrificial lamb among us?
Who among us will be brought down from the Olympus to the pyre? Who will make sure that we are around to light the sacrificial fire? Whoever has chosen a different path, he who is not with us, 1 out of 4, you do the math, will be thrown under the bus. There is no loyalty when money is at stake. There are no friends or allies. The law of the jungle rules. Don't make a mistake. The weak among us surely dies.
What do you have to say in your defense? You are a bunch of goofs. The situation is very tense. The pressure is through the roof. I have politicians breathing down my neck. Their priorities are crystal clear. If we can't find the solution for this wreck, we will get a kick in the rear. And then you can kiss your careers goodbye, along with all your corporate perks. Your recently purchased black shoes and black tie will be eaten in the closet where moth lurks. Don't cry, I am here with my arsenal. We still have the good old printing press. This will stay in history as Bacchanal that ended yet one more excess.
What do we do with number 4? Do we bail him out or not?
No, he goes down, but not before you tighten the merger knot. From this point on, listen to me And listen well, my friends. Don't even think of taking a pee without my permission and without my command. You will comply with all my demands and won't be naysayers, because at the end, your reward will be lots of help from our taxpayers. And the good old printing press will work overtime, and money will flow again, and the cash register's beautiful chime will calm down the soul and the brain.
This is a calamity beyond our worst fears. Our only hope is taxpayers, it appears. Oh, gods of finance, don't let us disappear. We feel it in our guts that our demise is near.
But a golden parachute will carry me well into my golden years.
It does not seem that things will end pretty. The markets are holding on by only a thread. Default is a certainty, and with some pity, I'd like to announce that the system is dead.
Run for the exit. Run for your money. Panic sets in. There is no solution. Everything was so cheerful and sunny. Will this situation have a resolution? Our crystal balls were completely defected.
Do you think they were assembled in China?
Our panel of experts was highly respected.
Just like the criminals were in Medina.
Panic sets in, there is nowhere to run. Gloom and doom rules, there is no solution. After this weekend, the country is done. What do we do to receive absolution? The system is crumbling, gods of finance are deaf. Bankers are traveling the road to collision. Run for the exit, call the IMF. Get ammunition, dry goods, and provisions. This is the end of the civilized world. There is no light at the end of this tunnel. Money, our system's umbilical cord, went from Niagara Falls to a funnel. Gloom and doom. Gloom and doom are the words of the day. There is no hiding. All that's left is to pray. There is one message we want to convey. This situation is here to stay.
I graduated at the top of my class. Not bad for a small town kid. I was on the fast track to become top brass. I was the best of the breed. I traveled to China, Mumbai, Singapore. I flew 1,000,000 miles a year. Champagne, Valium, and sleeping pills were staples for keeping in gear. I gained 40 pounds. I ate really well. I drank scotch to calm down. But after a while, it all was hell. This whole ordeal made me frown. I had no home, I had no friends. There was no one I could trust. My career was on track, but my life was a dead end. I looked at it all with disgust. If I had to travel another mile to close yet another deal, if I had to look at another file, I felt like a hamster on a running wheel. I saw my family once a year. I know they missed me a lot. One day, though, it became very clear that I should cut this Gordian knot. I remembered my childhood ambitions. I remembered the tavern, my friends. And then I had this premonition that my life was about to end. And I had to ask myself what really matters. Do I want to spend my whole life on airplanes, so far away from family warmth and chatter, living life in the so-called fast lane? The richest man in the cemetery, like the poorest man, are still dead. And the size of their toys does not matter. What matters is the life that they led. Their families and their friends are what matters. Their picnics and games and their kids. Their holiday dishes that clatter and what's cooking under the lid. One day you look in the mirror. You look yourself straight in the eyes. There you'll see someone who's very dear. Congratulations, you have won the grand prize.
I worked for a major enterprise. I was happy as a clam when I was hired. But after only a short while, I realized to advance in this job was required to arrive in the office before 7, to pretend there was much work to be done, to pretend that at work I'm in heaven, and to stay long after others have gone. The relationships were all but artificial, and backstabbers always did their best to do their deed. I was told by a company official that I had to bed him to succeed. This is not what I thought I'd be doing. I was not prepared at all. Various ideas started brewing in my mind, and then I hit the wall. soul searching, therapy, depression. All of these ended up in vain. But then, I remembered an old obsession. I picked up Hugo, Steinbeck, and Mark Twain. Their words, an elixir of wisdom, woke up my desires, hopes, and mind. And the world started changing around me. I went in next morning and resigned. I resigned to go back to teaching. This is my desire and my goal, that souls of kids I will be reaching. From this point, this will be my role. To the kids whose minds are still like sponges that absorb all the knowledge and wit, I will bring Jane Austen and Jack London. To the Teachers Guild I will commit, where my real treasure will be children learning. Knowledge is wealth that'll set them free. For true things in life they will be yearning. Building their futures is job number one. Don't you agree?
Everything was going so well. I came, I saw, I conquered. Everyone else I could outsell. I've been waiting for a promotional transfer, but everything changes. A memo came in saying our company's under investigation. I've been summoned, and I've been told there will be a major litigation. Our top management, we were told, defrauded a bunch of investors. Our stocks disappeared and heads rolled. This couldn't unwind any faster. That same afternoon, I picked up all my stuff, but had nowhere to go. Jobs were scarce, and I've had enough of this crap. I felt so low, and then the phone rang. My uncle was calling to offer a baker's job. I jumped for joy, picked up my coat. My body seemed to thrive, and in the morning before dawn, I started baking bread. My melancholy all but gone. I'd never go back. There's some magic when you bake, when kids come in and cheer, but when they try your carrot cake, they think you're a hero, and you create and mix and knead and use imported cheese, and with each slice your soul is freed. With yourself at peace, there's something comforting, I'll say. When people smell fresh bread to cheese and buttermilk, hooray! Hooray to the freshest bread.
Do what you like what you do. Everything else is a crock. Follow your dreams, but have fun too. Anything else is just for schmucks.
The markets have lost half of their value. It looks very much like the worst is behind. In any event, I'd like to inform you this whole situation was very unkind. We lost credibility, we lost bucks and hopes, and most are lucky to have any job. The country is still on a slippery slope. When I think of our nation, I sob.
Our panel of experts.
Oh, please, I can't hear it.
They think that the government is doing its best. They want to rename our country Zimbabwe. Instead of Congress, they want IRS. The mood is upbeat. China is buying paper. Looks like we avoided a fall off the cliff. A few $1 trillion went up into vapor. Retirement plans disappeared in poof.
Instead of the dollar, they want Russian rubles. GM will produce Chevy Vega again. We'll start making payments to Germans and strudels, and we'll implement a 5-year plan.
Hang on, everybody. The crisis is ending.
Forget we are broke, debt-laden, and poor. Forget that the banks have all but stopped lending.
Just watch our show.
It's excitement galore.
We got life support from the taxpayers. We already have a second wind. We make no loans, but who cares? We make sure that every client will be skinned. When you come to our friendly branches, every time you pay a lot of fees. We made out good from selling swaps and trenches. We are coming out of the freeze. Every quarter we rack up more profits. Money is not a problem, not at all. We receive our funds, well, for nothing. There is no reason to think small. We receive our bonuses in millions. Well, one has to be sure that ends will meet. But the fact that our country's debt is in trillions won't affect our own balance sheets. We are getting bigger, our powers are vast. We have our stock options and boats. The fact that we kind of created this mess is Unimportant!
Just vote.
The more things change,
The more they stays the same.
a greater fool will roam the earth forever. Humankind has no one to blame except themselves, for the bug of greed strikes dumb and clever. Whether it's greed for gold, or greed for slaves, religious greed, or greed for neighbor's wife, it only shows our society's decay. No, greed is no good. You have been fed a lie.
I have to say that my capitalist friend is right. This is society's great downfall and degradation. Apparently, this is the way for a great nation to learn the moral hazard plight. Das Kapital has flaws, I admit. But what happened here is a shame. You built a pedestal for greed. You have only yourselves to blame.
What do we do? Where do we go from here? Don't chase a dollar, chase your dream. Do what you like without fear. Derive your pleasure from within. We are right now at a crossroad, where to do nothing is also a choice. Just get ready to carry your load. Nothing will change until you raise your voice.
Raise your voice against corruption. Raise your voice against inaction. Raise your voice for better education. Raise your voice for longer vacations. Raise your voice for accessible medical care. Raise your voice for infrastructure repair. Raise your voice for true equality. Raise your voice for life quality. Raise your voice for a modern energy grid. Raise your voice against greed. Raise your voice against government waste. If politicians waste, then they should be replaced. Raise your voice against special interest groups. Raise your voice to bring back our troops. Raise your voice against all kinds of crime. Raise your voice against wasting time. Raise your voice against fast food and drugs. Raise your voice against neighborhood thugs. Raise your voice for new job creation. Raise your voice to build a great nation. Raise your voice, my young friends. Raise your voice. Remember, we are privileged to have a choice.